So many congratulations to you, Swati. You secured. So we would like to tell our audience that Swati Sharma has secured rank 70 in the civil services examination. And many congratulations to you. What was your first reaction जब आपको result आपने देखा उस समय क्या कर रहे थे और आपका पहला reaction क्या था?
So the speculations of results that were going on, तो सुबह से phone में PDF अब आएगी, that thing was going on Telegram. Suddenly my mother said, you keep your phone aside and do some other thing, distract yourself. But around 1:15, I think the PDF popped up, and then I put my roll number in the PDF. Then it came on the first page itself, and then I could not believe it. I was like, no, it cannot come on first page. Then I typed my roll number again, then I typed my name again. Then I called 2-3 of my friends, ki please check, this is my 𝐸 letter. So they said, no, it's your rank only. So it is quite unbelievable to think about something like this, rank 17. I think it's quite unbelievable.
So can you briefly tell me about your family background, your education, your 10th, your 12th and your graduation, everything about you?
So my father was serving in defense. So my early primary education had been from Army Public School. I did my 10th from Army Public School, Kolkata. After that, my father got retired and we shifted to Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. So from there, I did my 12th and my degree from Jamshedpur Women's College. After that, for around a year or so, I was planning to continue for further studies and do my master's. But then I thought I should rather switch on the preparation itself. So then I started preparing from mid of 2020, my serious preparation for CSE.
So now earlier what used to happen is that we used to pass out from graduation and then we used to decide preparing for civil services. And these days we see that people are starting preparing from second year, first year, second year, third year itself. So what did you do and what would you recommend?
Sir, during my college years, I did read some of the NCERTs, like for polity and economy. I started reading the NCERTs, but that was not like with consistency. It was like, okay, I'm reading one day and then maybe I'll read after a week. So I think one should plan for themselves upon their own choice. But the college years are the precious years of life. We should not degrade the college education for this goal, because this goal itself is so big and we are unsure about the results. So I think there should not be any regret in life ki we prepared but we still could not qualify and we wasted our college years also. That feeling should not be there. Or either else we can do this, we can balance out our college and the studies. That thing can also be done.
How did you come to know about ForumIAS? I remember, I think you had trouble clearing prelims or something 1 year back. We had met, right? So सबसे पहले आप forum, you came 1 year back or something. So first is, how did you come to know about ForumIAS, and what was our first interaction like, if you remember?
So in the initial 2 attempts, I had joined a series of other coachings that was online. So one of my actually friend recommended you should try Forum. Maybe that will help you, to clear your concepts, because especially for economics, I could not get good marks. After solving the Forum sectional test and SFG test, I used to buy from the market and then solve them. So that thing helped me to correct my mistakes that I was doing in economics. During my interview guidance program, when I came to first meet you, that time you remembered about AIR 15 Swati Sharma last year. That time you told me ki, maybe you'll get your name this year in the PDF. That was my first interaction with you.
So coming to the prelims examination, with respect to the prelims examination, what were the basic books that you referred to?
So my resources were those only which the toppers recommended, because I started my preparation through myself only, through self-study. So with the NCERTs and then the basic books, Lakshmikant for polity, Spectrum, R.S. Sharma and Ratish Chandra for history. For geography, G.C. Leong and NCERT. For economics also same, NCERT and Ramesh Singh. Similarly, the same books.
So when it comes to the prelims examination, a lot of students, they say that we are having an accuracy problem, which means that we are attempting very large number of questions, but we are not able to get them correct. Did you face such challenges and how did you deal with it?
So my challenge particularly was that I could not solve more questions. I was in that loop ki I have to get all the questions correct. So I used to solve around 70 to 75 questions, but the negatives were so much that my marks could not increase. I tried solving more questions, and then I reached the threshold of 92 to 93. Then with time, with revision, with solving many tests, the accuracy got resolved, and then I could score around 120 plus in mocks in the last month of preparation.
All right. So generally, you tried and you did not clear prelims twice before. So what mistake you think you were making in the first 2 attempts, which you were able to correct in this attempt?
So firstly, that I said I could not attempt more questions. Secondly, I was stuck on solving only a certain type of questions. I did not allow myself to solve, diversity of questions. Thirdly, I would say I did not analyze the previous years nicely. I just used to solve them and just keep them. I think that did not work out well. So this attempt, I solved a lot of tests, and from a very early phase, I joined ForumIAS in November. So the sectional test started from there on only. So I could analyze which subject is lacking, so I could work upon them. And secondly, the PYQs. I analyzed them around, 3 months before prelims. So I could actually arrange them in the order. How are they going to appear in the prelims again, if they do? So that thing helped.
So in the prelims examination, how many questions do you think a candidate should attempt?
So I think everybody has a different potential and a different sweet spot. For me, it was 90 to 93. Many students attempt 100 on 100 questions. So I think, sir, with mocks, we get an idea.
So in last year's paper also, you were able to attempt 90 to 93 questions?
No, sir. In my second attempt, I attempted only around 80 to 85.
85. But in 2023 attempt, you were able to attempt 92 questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was your strategy when you were left with just 2 options? You were able to eliminate 2 and you are left with 2. So how did you deal with it?
Sir, I think by solving tests only, I gained some kind of idea that where to apply common sense and, use that what we say calculated risk thing. The elimination trick, I think that comes along when we solve more tests. And certain statements, if we solve the PYQ, we get an idea that, okay, this statement might be wrong. Like previously people used to say if the statement is like, it contains only, if only, and factual, those are generally wrong. That rule was broken this year. So I think that trick that comes along with practice and technique of solving MCQs.
All right. So these rules that only and these rules, do you think that these rules are hardwired or is it a language issue? Because sometimes if you have people who have better command over language or who are able to fully interpret the meaning of the sentence, they are able to better address this question. But if you try to follow some hardware rules, that if it is a science and tech question and the question is which of the following is a possible application of this technology, right? So if you try to have a hardware, so what was it like? Do you see more as a language interpretation problem, or do you think that some hardware rules can be made?
No, sir, I think it is the interpretation problem, because this year only many statements were there that contained only and all that, but those were correct. So I think it is the interpretation problem.
Language skills problem.
Yes.
Now coming to CSAT, increasingly we have seen that CSAT has become a lot more difficult. So one is that, did you ever flunk in CSAT paper as well? And second is that, what was your strategy for handling CSAT this time?
So in my second attempt, I could not qualify CSAT. I could qualify GS but could not qualify CSAT. So for this attempt, what I did, I started very early. The CSAT preparation, I started to do it from a very early stage. Around August, I started to do it for CSAT. I took a book. I firstly did it topic-wise, like from number system, average. I took those topics which come in more quantity, you can say. And then I focused on my accuracy. For example, in reading comprehension, people say you should not attempt the questions that contain assumptions in which. But I used to solve them, and I tried I gain accuracy in some of them. For logical reasoning, same. I solved a number of questions so that I get an idea if a particular question is coming in some another form, how to solve it. So that was the thing that I changed for my this attempt.
Wonderful. So towards the end, how many CSAT mocks you wrote, or how many is an ideal number which people should now attempt, given that CSAT has become a little difficult?
So I think rather than focusing on how much you are attempting, I think more focus in CSAT particularly should be on accuracy. If somebody is solving around 45 and they're getting 40 correct, so I think they can cross that 66 barrier. But I think so that is one's own personal sweet point. But number of mocks I solved a lot this year. In fact, last 3 months I made a habit that in the afternoon from 2 to 4 I would solve CSAT only. So that became a habit that helped me sail through CSAT this year.
Okay, and there is English reading comprehension, and then there is the mathematical part, isn't it? So which part did you attempt more, the English language one or the mathematical part?
So for this year, the question paper was such that I focused more on, I actually solved all the questions from reading comprehension, and a mix of, in the maths thing, there are reasoning and quant, and in some questions, those two were also mixed. So I selectively chose questions which I could solve there.
And what was your typical day like 1 month before the prelims examination? What did your typical day look like? I mean, what time did you wake up? What time did you have your meals? What time did you study? What time did you go to bed? Whether was it an early riser or a late night study? What was it like?
So 1 month before, I used to wake up around 7:30, and I used to sit around 8:30 after having my breakfast. Around 9 to 11, I used to solve one paper daily, whether it is PYQ or some institute's mock. And then I used to analyze it for around an hour and so, and then I used to take a break, do my lunch. Then I used to do the CSAT. And all the evening part that is left to be done, I used to revise whatever portion I was lacking in. And especially the current affairs part, that plays a very important role. So I used to do that in the evening.
So in the examination, in the prelims examination, did you face the trouble of running out of time?
So in the initial 2 attempts, I did find it, but this year, I think I gained a lot of confidence, so I did not find it such. Yes, but in CSAT, it was quite a task to complete the paper and attempt many questions.
So coming to note making, so did you make elaborate notes? Did you make short notes? And what was your note making strategy?
So for prelims, earlier I used to just jot down the points. That did not help me. So this year I used the help of maps, and I used to underline the books only, so that I can revise them easily, especially for history and geography. I have a habit of forgetting things, sites, dates. So for that, I used to make a chronology of events, which is often asked in UPSC sometimes. Similarly, for economics, if something is going on and it is coming in newspaper very frequently, for example, the terms read, need, appreciation, depreciation, so those terms I used to make sure that I get those concepts right. So this much for prelims I used to do. I also used to maintain a separate notebook in which I used to write, okay, even if there was a silly, easy question and I did a silly mistake, I used to write that, okay, this governor question was wrong. It was an easy question, so I do not have to do this wrong in the final day. So I used to do that one thing.
So you mean did you have a separate register of errors or something you were able to maintain?
Yes, but those also should be, I think, very concise. They should be like pointers. They should not become a notebook in itself.
And paper notes or digital notes?
So earlier I used to do this paper thing, but later on I shifted to digital because it becomes a very bulk.
So which software did you use?
Evernote.
Evernote. Alright, did you try to also evaluate OneNote for note making, or you did not?
No, so I started with Evernote. I found it useful and it was, I got friendly with it, so I continued with that only.
And what study tools did you have? For example, how much did you use phone for your studies versus a tablet or an iPad or a laptop or a desktop? What tools did you have for your studies?
So I have a habit of holding book in the hands, so I was more relied on books. For the current affairs section, I used to rely on Evernote because current affairs is very huge.
Alright, so did you keep a tablet or a laptop?
No, so laptop.
You were using a laptop.
Yes.
And any hacks in particular you can recall for organizing your notes in a proper format in Evernote, given that did you make folders or did you make notebooks or you just had a single notebook with different notes? How did you organize your notes digitally?
No, sir. Sorry, they were divided into certain sections like GS1, GS2, GS3. For prelims, it was separate, and from the prelim section, it was further divided into polity, economy, history, similarly.
Now coming to the mains examination. First, do you think that there is a change in approach between the prelims preparation versus the mains preparation, or is it just an extension of your prelims preparation when it comes to the mains exam?
So I think both should go hand in hand. In fact, prelims I think is an extension, mains is an extension of prelims exam. It's just the same books. I read the same books which I referred for prelims. It's just I added something, one book extra or more, or some PDF note which I made by myself. That is extra that I did for mains, and writing tests to analyze. And for mains specifically, I made sure that I had 1-page or 2-page notes for every topic, especially for papers like ethics, where definitions and understanding of term is very important. And from GS2, there are topics like social justice and governance. In such topics, the questions are sort of repeated. The theme is often repeated. So I think if those questions are handy with 1-2-page notes, I think that becomes very efficient for the last minute revision or during those 3 months of mains.
So in general studies paper 1, we have some new additions such as, which is not there in the prelims exam, such as post-independence history or world history. So what time did you do these parts? Did you do it after the prelims, or you had done it before the prelims exam?
So as it was my third attempt, so I had a lot of time for mains preparation earlier also. So I had done it before prelims only. For post-independence, I read the NCERT book only. For world history, I had referred to Norman Lowe also and themes of world history. But I think either will do because the questions are not coming in that much.
All right. So if looking back in the hindsight, if somebody has less time, so would you recommend them to leave world history because questions are coming less, world history and post-independence, or what would you say?
I think an idea should be taken because you never know. UPSC is such an uncertain exam. I don't think we should take a chance to miss even a single question. If it is mentioned in the syllabus, if we do not have time to read a book, we can refer to any material that is available in the market. But some good material, but I think it should be read.
All right. 2 more important sections in general studies paper 1. One is society and the other is geography. How did you handle society?
So for the society part, same. I started with the NCERTs and I followed this same 1-page or 2-page notes for each section for communalism and all these topics. I had my separate notes with maps if I could make anywhere. That's all.
Coming to general studies paper 2, we have polity and governance and development issues. Okay. So was Lakshmikant sufficient for this part, or do we have to go beyond Lakshmikant for these parts?
So because my option was PSIR, so I did not face a lot of challenge in completing that. But yes, sir, for governance and social justice, I think separate notes should be made because that is not overlapping with PSIR. Plus, those are the things which deals with the day-to-day governance and administration. So separate notes can be made for them. But I personally, apart from Lakshmikant, I did not refer to. I had notes for the social justice and governance, but for the polity part in general, I made just my self notes.
Now coming to general studies paper 3, which is having a very vast syllabus. You have economy, you have international relations, you have science and tech, you have disaster management. So what was your overall approach for GS paper 3?
So for GS paper 3, for the economy section, I had read Ramesh Singh book. After that, for the topics like agriculture, e-technology, I used to Google them and see about the schemes that are being done by the government, the PIB, that can be very useful. For the science and technology, the terms that are mentioned, same, I used to Google them, find out a definition, how is India performing in those section, what are the implications that they can have on the society, what are the challenges that India is facing. Many articles are present on the internet itself. I just used to Google them and make note of them and then refer to PYQs, what kind of questions are asking. So I found it a certain pattern, like generally questions are revolved around these issues only. So I used to do it like that. For the disaster management, I had done it from the NDMA guidelines only. I had a lot of time, so I read the whole PDF and jot down content from that only. But I think in order to save time, I don't think that is time efficient. So in order to save time, we can refer to any note, even if a topper note is available. I think that can also suffice.
So coming to General Studies Paper 4, what were your sources for GS Paper 4 and what was your overall approach for the subject?
So in the beginning, I started with the lexicon. I made some notes, but my content was lacking enrichment. So I just referred to ForumIAS textbook for ethics, and that added very much of value addition to my answers. For example, the real life examples that I could not find. Somewhere I could not draw flowcharts. So that helped me in presenting my answer in a better manner.
All right. In General Studies Paper 4, we have part A where there is theory and part B we have case studies. Which part did you attempt?
So I was good at section A, but I used to attempt the code-based question. I used to leave them. Rest section A I was to attempt in one go. Then I used to solve the case studies, and the 3 code-based questions I used to do them at the last.
Coming to mains answer writing. So how useful did you find mains guidance program for answer writing improvement and with respect to its evaluation and the solutions? What was your experience?
So I think it was wonderful because before prelims I had my concise note, but I did not know if I presented them in a good manner. I used to do a daily answer writing program earlier, but it was like in the starting, and what we do actually during those 3 months, that make a lot of difference. And if you get your paper evaluated on time and with good feedback, that helps you. Especially for my ethics paper, for example, I used to get feedback that I need to add more examples, and my case study part is weak. So I got an understanding, okay, this part is weak, I need to work more on this. And also I got a mentorship program from this ForumIAS where sir told me that, okay, this is the way how you can improve your case study, how you can lessen your time for case study. So I think, so that way it worked.
All right. So you're satisfied with the evaluation and the feedback that you got here?
Yes, sir, wholly.
What was the structure that you followed for your answer writing to address any question?
So it was the introduction, body, conclusion, that thing. With in the body, I made sure, if possible, I could do subparts, writing them in bold so that it could differentiate between the 2 parts that I'm addressing in the body part.
Great. And how important do you think is, apart from the content, how important do you think is presentation of the answer, given that in forum we do have a focus both on content enrichment as well as the presentation aspects? So how important do you think presentation is?
Sir, I think it is very important. If we are understanding a thing but we are not able to reciprocate in the paper, I think it makes very less sense, even if we have that much of knowledge. Especially as it is said that we have to make the work of examiner easy. So by using flowcharts, diagrams, especially for history and geography, and especially like internal security, if we can make maps, even if a small map can do, I think that helps to add some more brownie points to your answer.
In the last 2-3 weeks before the mains examination, how was your day like? I mean, how did you balance between the optional subject and the essay and ethics and all the general studies? So how did you divide your time between, optional and general studies, and how did your day look like?
So mainly it was divided into 3 parts. In the morning, I used to revise things. In the afternoon, if I could write a paper, I used to write it. In the alternate days, I had made a habit that I would write 1 mock at least. And in the evening, I used to revise my optional. For my optional, I could not write full-length test, so I did sectionals. But for my GS paper, I rigorously wrote a lot of tests, especially full-length. So I think, sir, in the last 3 weeks, one should concentrate on revising and writing tests, because that makes a habit of writing in those 3 hours continuously with good content. That is a challenge there.
Wonderful. Coming to the personality test, did you get sufficient time for preparing for the interview, or was it delayed, or what was it like?
So the schedule came on 19th December and my interview was around 15th January. So I did not have much time. And after mains, I had lost the touch with the current affairs. So I really got scared that current affairs, it is an integral part of preparation. And it is specifically mentioned in the UPSC syllabus also that current affairs should be emphasized. So it was a hectic schedule. I started reading newspapers and then covering whatever was left in the past. So if I could have gotten more time, every aspirant thinks so, I would have performed better. But I think what is to be done was done at that time of moment.
I think that time when we were having a discussion, I had said that Swati Sharma last year, one student has gotten 15th rank, maybe you'll also get something like this.
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Those were very prophetic words if we see from the benefiter. Wonderful. So, which board did you get?
Suman Sharma, ma'am.
All right. And what was the most difficult question that was asked to you?
So there was a question of economy that I could not answer. It was about a law under which government bans import. At that moment, I could not recall it. So I think that was the most difficult question at that time. And apart from that, the questions that were asked that revolved around my optional subject and my home state, Jharkhand only. So I could answer most of them.
So coming to the end of it, so the examination, it took you about 3 attempts to clear this examination. So this must be full of days which were not so good. How did you keep yourself motivated during the times when you were not able to get the success that you wanted?
So way back when I was at home, it was my parents and my brother that was my constant source of motivation. They were like, okay, fine, people clear in the last attempt also. Don't stop trying. Try to give it a chance. Analyze where you're going wrong. If you're not getting anything right, take a course, do it, because it is not possible to know everything. UPSC syllabus is very vast. I think if somebody is lacking in something, they can take a help. But when I came to Delhi, there are a few friends, the peer group, they helped me a lot.
You had come to Delhi after the prelims exam?
No, sir, before the prelims examination. 2022, okay. November, December,
okay,
I
November,
came
December. Okay, that time you had come and you were writing test, as you said, in November, sectional test.
Yes, sir.
You were writing for prelims.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So the peer groups, they motivated me all around.
So, as silly as it may sound, I ask this to every student of mine. So when we begin writing this examination, we start with a certain pen, and then we probably sometimes for the mains examination, we are not able to complete the paper. So therefore we keep changing the pens until we find that one pen which will help us get a very good rank like yours. So were you loyal to one single pen all throughout, or you kept changing? What pen did you use?
No, sir. I used to use V5, this Pilot V5. I used to write my mocks with that pen only so that I get a practice of writing with that pen. So I used that pen only for essay, be it or GS or optional.
So coming to the end of it, Swati, a lot of students who, of course, you're looking for your name in the result, and at the same time probably preparing for the prelims examination, isn't it? So what would you say to students who are currently preparing for the prelims? What are the 2 or 3 things you would like to tell them?
So I think the foremost is, I think, so this PYQ analysis, which everybody says, I think it is very important. This really helped me this time, not only for GS, but also for CSAT. I think secondly, it is important to analyze in which subject we are not getting marks, or if we are getting negative in one subject, I think we need to revise it more, concentrate on getting it better. And thirdly, so I think is the confidence. I think confidence is the key to any exam. In my first initial 2 attempts, I lacked a lot of confidence. I used to panic in the exam hall. I remember in my second attempt, I had filled this OMR sheet wrong in the beginning only. So, that drains out your confidence. So it is very important to remain calm so that you don't do any mistake in the OMR especially, because that can cost you an attempt. So these are the things that I would recommend.
How happy were you with ForumIAS, whatever courses you took with us, and how satisfied you were with us?
So ForumIAS, I've been a part of all 3 stages of my journey. So especially for prelims and mains, ForumIAS have been very helpful, because the thing that I talked about, confidence, it really helped me gain that, okay, fine, I know something, I can perform well, I can do well on that day. So that thing is very important. And then for interview guidance program, the panelists, they motivated me. Wherever I was lacking, they told me, okay, fine, these are the areas you can work upon. But at the same time, they told me that you are a good candidate and all that things that people say. So I think confidence is the key to this exam. So it helped me gain a lot of confidence, especially the classes, current affairs classes that Dipin sir takes, because I had less time for the preparation. So that questions that he provided, So that also helps to give direction, okay, which current affairs I have to read, because I had lost a touch, as I said. So that helps a lot.
You also attended the interview orientation session by any chance?
Those are the current affairs
Current
program.
affairs classes that we had. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Swati, and we wish you a very bright future. I think you have secured the highest rank from Jharkhand as of now. Or chalo, many congratulations, and to all the viewers who are watching this video from Jharkhand, you always have in front of your role model who has really slogged it, who has worked hard and made her way to this examination, and is an example of how not giving up can help you achieve success. Thank you so much, Swati.
Thank you, sir.